All right.
Hey!
It's the Genesee Magical Show.
Show!
All right, welcome.
And Beaner.
Glad to be back at the Flint Talk Studios. Thank you, John, for being back in the studio, and glad to see you're feeling better again.
Yeah, I feel better to be back in the studio, better than sneezing and coughing. Much better.
Cool.
Yeah, we missed you last week, man.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, how's it been going, man? How you been doing?
It's going really good.
Excellent. Yeah. It's a new year, and
Gregorian.
Okay. On the calendar.
All right, we have a little confusion.
Again, Gregorian.
sorry, I'm just blowing my mind. We were sitting talking before the show started about Blue Moon ice cream. And then I had an idea, what is Blue Moon ice cream? What is that exact flavor? What is it in it?
You actually said it aloud.
Yeah, so I looked up in Wikipedia. They're saying there's a number of sources, but unless you are the manufacturer of Blue Moon, that the suggested flavors could range from Fruit Loops, orange, pineapple, lemon, cherry, raspberry, cantaloupe, honeydew, peach, licorice, pistachio, coconut, almond, burnt almond, nutmeg, cloves, ginger, cardamom. Yep, cardamom, there you go. Buttercream, custard, chocolate, vanilla, marshmallow, bubblegum, blue Curaçao.
What? All that's in there?
Could be what's in it.
What?
Blue Curaçao.
Well, you found good information.
Can we get a what's most commonly found?
Well, this is off Wikipedia. You won't know the exact ingredients because you can't look up the flavoring. It's secret. It's only, it's kind of like asking what the secret sauce is, even though we know. But this is what they say with all the different varieties of ways that people make it, that all these things are introduced in it to make their own variety of it, to try to make the flavor. So this is which blows my mind, which means that it's like an ultimate ice cream.
So if anybody out there knows the key to this conspiracy,
yeah.
Blue Moon. Blue Moon.
Dude, what is
in Blue Moon?
What if it's something weird?
It's a crapshoot.
No, what if it's like
you know what you're getting, man.
What if it's like
you gotta be careful going to ice cream joints.
What if it's like cow urine? What if someone found out when they're making ice cream like
Hey, my daughter happens to...
I love Blue Moon.
Toby as well.
I love Blue Moon too.
You
I
as
love
well.
Blue Moon.
But not just loving, but that is their favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, period.
Okay.
That and Superman.
Well, see, and what is the main ingredient in Superman?
Blue Moon's one of them, and then there's all these other flavors, though, too.
But Blue Moon is the foundation of Superman.
I'm baffled.
They're nothing. You know what I
mean?
Blue has thwarted their plan.
He has a red thing on his chest, but what's on his legs and arms?
Yeah, blue.
Blue. It's the foundation.
Now I just want to know what's in it.
Remember that.
All right, we do have some information about medical marijuana this week. Yay. Also, we have some information about the club, I'm sure, as far as what's going on. So we'll share that with you guys.
I forgot.
And John, what are you pointing at me?
Slide over a little bit closer to Jerry. You're just out of range on the camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Or kick it over. You can kick it
so far away.
Right. Kick it. I just adjusted. All right.
Jeremy was just so far away.
But it's so close.
So close yet.
But so far away.
Exactly.
All right, Chad, what do you have this week for announcements?
Well, club stuff, let's see. We've always just been having our usual spectacular days down there. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6. I know a lot of people that have not been there yet and have watching the show. Come on down and check us out. We are in the new building. Yeah, we have the new building open now. So the people that haven't been there in a while have been coming back to see what the new building is all about. And we have the old building still as the educational center, but we just gotten 3 times the size now, literally. Because
awesome.
It's twice the size of one size, right? And
yeah.
So 3 times the size. So come on down, check us out. Go to our webpage, Genesee3C.com. Go there. You can keep up to date with anything that's going on, upcoming events, classes, other things we do at the soup kitchen and such. Those will always be on there for you to keep up to date with. But the best way to find out what's going on is to come on down yourself and become a member if you aren't already, and come hang out. And this month for classes, we actually have 2 classes this month. Sorry.
Do we?
Yes, 2 classes. On February 15th from 2 to 4 p.m., we have our hash class. Yes.
Concentrate.
Nice.
Concentrate class, right? Well, it's a little bit of everything.
Is this the one that you need to go to get certified to use the hash lab?
Yes, this is a 2-part class. This is one of the classes here. It is $40, correct?
Which is still a stellar deal.
You're saving $10 on going to 2 classes that way.
$10. So, that's almost like $10 nowadays.
Just like $10. And you have to be a member.
With inflation.
I know.
And you have to be a card holder for this class. And in this class, you're going to learn about the first part of it. You're going to learn about different kinds of extraction methods. And you're going to learn a lot about cold water extraction methods, which there is a laboratory there where you'll be able to use and actually learn while you are in the class. And we'll also certify you so you can use those labs after the class. So that way, any Tuesday after that, you want to come and actually rent one of the hash machines, you'll be able to come and do that. But you have to have the class as a prerequisite. And then the other half of this class that you'll learn about is different ways of infusing and using the cannabis actually besides smoking. So you'll learn about infusing in oils, different topicals, tinctures, rubs, medibles, all that kind of stuff. Pretty much everything that you really want to learn about is going to be in this class that you're going to need to know about the end product with your medicine. So come check out this class with Ramona. That's going to be the 15th again. And then the following class after that, we have laws. Is it laws in general, Jeremy, or is it medical caregiving?
It's the law.
The law. Yeah. It's with Jeremy right here.
I am the law.
I believe it's going to be packed this round because a lot of people have been coming and asking because of the new changes that have happened.
Yep.
They're uninformed, so
I think
they're wanting to just take a class.
That's a good idea, Toby. They should ask those questions.
Yep. And that's going to be February 20th.
Yes.
And that's going to be from 12 to 1 p.m. And that's just like a regular one-hour class, but it usually goes over. So if you have a lot of questions, don't feel rushed.
Yeah.
Jeremy goes pretty thoroughly over all the laws and actually over people's questions too. So you don't have to feel like you can come to this place and
Tide, man.
Yeah.
Cover it all.
When you come to these classes, a good thing to do is come like you would a normal class. If you have any questions that you really want to know about or something you want to learn about and it pertains to this class, write it down before you get to class. So that way you remember it. So that way you don't forget about it and after you leave the class you're like, darn it, I forgot to find out about this and he only covered a little bit on this part of it and I want to know this.
Let's face it.
The only way to really find that out, this guy knows it. You just got to ask him. You know what I'm saying? So have a question ready for him. Same with the hash class. If you have any questions, you know what I'm saying, have them ready. I loved asking questions when I was in my first class with the hash making class. It's my first class I took, and I think I asked all the questions in the class. I
really do enjoy our classes. I enjoy the ones I get to teach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then the other ones that we offer, and they're definitely worthwhile. And out of all the ones I've got to teach, the law one's probably the one I enjoy the most because I know that people are really interested in knowing the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just sort of, oh, well, I've always wondered. People are like, well, I really didn't want to go to jail, so could you tell me?
Yep.
And that's kind of what we try to do in that class. And you're right, we're going to go over some of the new changes in the law, the ones that were just passed, make sure everybody's up to date on that. And then, I know there's a couple different attorneys out there in Michigan that are doing a great job of providing information or summaries of what you need to be aware of. A couple of them, one would be Greg Schmid. He's a local attorney in Saginaw. And you can look him up online. Again, his name is Schmid. It's like SCHMIDT or something like that. Greg. He's in Bay City area. But you can look him up. He's got a great website. He has, if you guys have ever seen those notices, or it says like notice, restricted area, I think that came from his website.
Okay.
So if you guys want a copy of that, you could go there. And he provides that stuff on his website free, like as a PDF. He's super cool.
Yeah.
Nice. He has also done a summary, and I don't know if he's got that information on his website yet, but I bet you he will have it on there shortly. That's not what you think it was. Another good attorney out there is Michael Comorn in Planet Green Trees Radio. I know they're going to be on tonight talking on their podcast that they do, and you can catch information there. Another resource is John Targowski. He's on the west side of the state. He was just in a recent newspaper article featured, I think, in the Flint Journal. I think John was showing that to me and a couple other members at the club as well.
Yeah.
But, he is a patient himself. He's outspoken about that. He's, I believe, a paraplegic, and he's an excellent attorney. So he has said, he wants to be a spokesperson for helping people understand the law. So that'd be another resource. And I know there's a few others out there like Matthew Abel and so on, but another one I wanted to mention was Marijuana Policy Project. If you go to mpp.org, you can get their legislative analysis by their top dog, Dan Riffle, who is our representative area for Michigan and for other states for MPP. And MPP is a pretty powerful marijuana lobbying group based out of Washington. And you guys have heard us talk about them before, but you can go to their website as well and get the updates about the law and about the changes. And so if you wanted to read through them in a way that makes it more understandable, you can go read the law yourself at michiganlegislature.gov. And for some of us out there, that might be the way to go. But if you really just want a quick synopsis, those are excellent resources for you to use. And I know that our club is going to also be that resource for you as well. So if you have questions, you can ask staff members about how to conduct yourself to make sure you're going to stay legal once you leave the club, and also while you're there, of course. But in addition to that, you can further educate yourself by taking the class. And
stay informed.
when is my class again?
It is February 20th.
I'll be there. Really?
Yes.
February 20th.
From 12 to 1 p.m.
Okay. I will be there. All right. Anyways, what else we got going on?
We actually have another class coming up, but it's going to be in February.
This is exciting.
Yes, I'm letting you guys know now.
Education is key.
Because there's only going to be so many spots, I'm assuming.
Unlock that.
Because we don't have such a big building. We do have, an overflow limit. And this is going to be Monday, February 4th, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And this is going to be with DJ Short.
Whoa.
Yes.
3-hour class.
3-hour class.
It's like
$50 for G3C members and $100 for non-members. There's only going to be 40 spots available, and there'll be a $20 deposit required to hold your spot. So if you'd like to take the class, you can either come down and pay for it all, or put a $20 deposit down on it. I'd recommend it. I know I got my deposit in my pocket right now, and it's going down as soon as we leave here.
When can you start making your deposits? Because if there's only 40 spots, that's not very many.
No, it's not.
It's not at all.
Let's see. Sorry, guys. It doesn't have any spot on here saying about when you can start signing up.
Okay, well, we'll let you know then, right?
Well, I just got the flyers today to
not
check
yet,
out now.
but we'll let you know.
I would assume you could probably, if I got the flyers to go put them out today.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
I'll text someone in a matter of a few minutes, guys.
You
and
got
I'll
people
let
probably
know.
trying to get up out of their seats right now.
Right now.
Hold every
3-hour class.
You're listening
Short.
right now. Hold on to the edge of your seat. Give me a few moments. Roll on up and relax for a second, and I'll text.
But wait, there's more.
But this class will be going on with DJ Short. It's a very good, DJ Short's very avid grower, very avid breeder. Worldwide known, advocate for marijuana, also for cannabis itself. I definitely recommend.
Author.
Yeah, author. I mean, he's pretty much done it all.
Connoisseur.
Yeah.
Legend.
And a lot of people at the club have already met him and know how cool this guy is, and know how chill he is. And I just imagine this class is going to be the same kind of
is known as
atmosphere.
DJ Shorticus.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm thrilled that he's going to be coming and teaching a class at the club. But you said it's $50 for members?
Yep. And $100 for non-members.
And $100 for non. And obviously you're going to be talking to, like we said, one of the world's renowned cannabis cultivationist, and get to spend 3 hours with this dude. That'd be amazing. And I'm thrilled to be able to say he's going to be at the club. That's quite an honor. And of course he's been there before, and some of us, it might not be that big of a deal anymore, but it's still pretty cool. And let's spread the word. If maybe you've got some friends out there might be interested in getting to do this, and I know that I'm interested in doing it myself. I'm anxious to hear and learn.
How would you not have interest in that?
Shall I let him on a secret too?
Huh?
Shall I let him on a secret?
What?
All right. If you're not a member, but you've been thinking about becoming a member, and you want to go listen to DJ Short at his class, if you go become a member now, it'll only cost you $20, and you get a free T-shirt with your membership. So then when you sign up for DJ's class, it'll only cost you $50. So
you're saving $30.
$30? What? Right off the bat. And then
big time.
And you get the free shirt, you get to help out the club, and then you get to come see DJ Short and hang out at the club.
And a year membership.
Yes, a whole year membership. A lot of places do a month. We do a whole year.
Yeah, a month is not long enough.
No, and you get a free shirt. Free shirt's worth that. But if you haven't come down and check it out yet, now is the time to come check it out. Especially with DJ Short coming in. I know I'm going to be putting up flyers this week around a couple grow stores, and I have a feeling that this is going to go quick. And I'm waiting for a text right now. Like I said.
When is it again? I'm sorry.
February 4th.
Okay.
2013.
That's like less than a month away.
Yep. From 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
And that's a Monday.
Monday.
The club
is not open on that day.
Yeah, but so we'll be just open for the class. So it's going to be like a private class with DJ at the club, and that's
cool.
I'm pumped, man. That's sweet.
I am too.
All right, what else we got? The folks out there getting bored. Lay it on them. Come on.
Besides at the club right now,
Move on.
we've just been having a wonderful first of the year coming about. It's early still. We got our classes. We got everything coming up. Is there anything else new going on, Toby? You can think of? Have we got anything new
I
at
don't
the
think
club?
we need any more stuff going on.
Have we got anything new? I know we have got some more of those nails in, the raw nails. We've been getting those in, and people have been digging those things. If you're listening at the club and you don't know what I'm talking about yet, they are the like the raws, the Atmoses we have, the little portable vaporizers, where they're all shiny, like chrome looking. They're called the nails, and those are for more like your concentrate use and stuff. I know people have been asking me about those quite a bit, and I know we've gotten more of those in, and I know we also have gotten some new coffee flavors in too. I heard we were ordering a couple new flavors here and there, so keep an eye on that.
Busting those out.
And people are digging the coffee.
Fresh.
Yeah, the coffee club too, right? And the pop club, the soda club. People
Well,
are
it's like a
digging
big
that.
thing.
Well, I forgot, but I mean, I know DJ is going to be teaching the class, but I think isn't he also going to be hanging out at the club for a couple days too?
I'm not quite sure yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
believe
Sorry.
I believe it's up in the air, depending on his schedule.
Okay.
But he would like to, as far as I know.
All right, hey,
And we
I
would
just
like
got
to have
word.
him.
I just got word, guys. Here's the dealio. If you want to come to the DJ Shark
Remember that one
class,
time when like
and you guys are all sitting
DJ
there,
came to the club and he brought his seats. He had a fedora.
He signed some books.
It was really cool.
he's not really a DJ.
I've been-
Confused me.
I walked by him and I
Had
said,
someone said to me.
I said hi. I was like, hi DJ.
Hey. I had someone one
He shook
time.
my hand. I was like, oh. I really like your blueberry. Thanks. It's nerve-wracking, man. He's like a legend,
He is.
man.
But guess what, though? If people are listening right now,
Huh?
right now, not right now later, but like right now, like as we speak in the moment, right now, exactly now, period now. You can get up out of your seat right now, and run right next door, or actually walk for insurance reasons, walk to the educational center in a single file pace. Please, no bumping, no hitting, no hurting each other, biting each other, pulling hair out or anything. Go to the educational center, and you can sign up right now for the DJ Short class. But it's only 40 spots available. So if I get back from the podcast and there's an extra spot or two, I'm taking one. And if you're thinking about going and you aren't signing up right, there's probably three right here.
I think
So-
it's muy tiempo, boy.
So if you don't get up now,
Tell him 40.
Me
There's
too.
37 spots available.
there's 30 spots. Let's say that. I'm sure we have a few more now.
37.
37 spots available.
It's going down.
37.
Can
Still 37.
we get a ticker from the club?
I know people. Are listening at the club right now who can make this happen. So there's only 37 spots available. Wink.
All right.
21 going, 121.
So we have you guys.
We'll be auctioning off the last 10.
So right now you guys can go sign up. They got
Somebody's going to be scalping them. If we catch you scalping tickets, you are going to be in trouble. Sonny will be on you. We're going to have to unleash the beast.
But in all seriousness, though, I will be taking flyers out and putting them out in the public tonight. So if you guys are listening at the club and you really want to, take this class and you're pondering about it, well, you should or should not sign up right this moment. Do it now, because once I put those flyers out, I'm going to tell you it's not going to last more than a day or so. So if you're really considering it, go sign up now. I'm really getting mine tonight, so do it. That's all I got to say about that. You guys got everything right there given to you. Go do it. Let's have some fun. I'll see you guys all there. Do it. Just do it. Just do it. I'm a big oil tycoon. Just do it. Just do it.
All right. We do have a little bit of news that
Yes.
we could share.
Some legal stuff.
Should we share?
Stuff has happened in 2 weeks.
Oh, hey, if you're at the club too, say, give Flint Eastwood a good handshake and a hug. Yes, you guys all know why. I don't have to tell you why, but
Yeah.
get ready to take off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Party
don't
on.
announce that part.
Right, never mind. What you did anyway.
Curious.
That's okay.
No.
They can read lips, man.
All right. We can read lips.
Well, I know we got the new laws and stuff.
Yeah,
Well, we kind of talked about the laws. I mean, didn't we talk
We
about
did kind
that?
of, but you know what?
Kind of.
People are still confused about certain things.
Like what?
Maybe it'd be better if we asked you questions.
Ask
So-
questions. Let's
All
do
right.
it quick because I'm bored with
Like
these
the
new laws.
lockbox thing.
Fair enough.
Like the lockbox thing. Like today, Toby asked me, he goes, I noticed you don't have a lock in the
lock
bag.
box. Where are you guys getting this lock?
Well, no, just a lock
from?
container or something.
Why,
Anything.
where do we get the lock container from?
If you don't have
This is
a
what I'm asking.
If you don't have a trunk,
This is what I'm
thank you,
getting
Toby.
to. Yeah, this is what I'm
Thank
getting.
you.
I'm getting there.
You have to speed it up, dude.
I don't have a trunk, so that's why I'm asking. And I mentioned, I'm looking to get a nice container. So what is the skippy on that? Like, what's the best way to protect
Okay,
yourself?
so everybody knows that I got that big black truck, Foxy Lady,
Yes.
right? So that's the
a
scenario.
good example.
What am I supposed to do with that, right?
Mhm.
I can't possibly fit my backpack behind my seat.
Mhm.
I don't have a tailgate, so I
Correct.
can't throw it in the back of my truck,
So what do you do
which
now?
would be an option. I would do that as long as it wouldn't blow away or something. Anyways, what do I do, right? So it's all about. It says that your medication has to be inaccessible from you and anybody else in the vehicle. Okay, so inaccessible means exactly that. It needs to be inaccessible.
So that's going to change whether it's just you in the vehicle or there's other people, where there has to be.
Correct. And how it's packaged or not packaged.
Be responsible.
That's right. So, and I think that, it's the same ideas as if I was driving that same vehicle and I was transporting a weapon. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I don't have a trunk. I can't throw it in the back, but obviously I can make it inaccessible. And by, practicing simple things like keeping the ammo separate from the gun would be one of those things that you could do. But another thing that you could do, like with your medication, for example, is let's say you have it in a jar. It's not already, pre-rolled, and then the jar is inside of a container that is, closed. Then that shows that it's inaccessible because of the fact that you can't just get it. You can't just grab it and light it up. There's a lot of
Right.
conditions that a police officer can use to interpret that, and it's for a reason, so that they can have some type of leeway to say, hey, this person was, in fact, operating their vehicle while using or
Right.
not. I mean, that's the whole purpose of having the law in the first place. And you have to realize that, like, you may think that there were ulterior motives in why these laws were passed, but it is up to law enforcement to enforce them. And so when the point of the law, or the gist of it, is to provide law enforcement with the ability to do their job, which is what this is, okay?
Right.
Then they are going to be able to now do their job. Previously, there was exerted a legal perception or possible exception for card holders to have, access to cannabis while operating a vehicle. And certainly those of us who are card holders, who are responsible, understand that that is not what the law was intended for. The law clearly states that you cannot operate the vehicle while being impaired, let alone operate the vehicle while impairing.
Right.
Okay? I mean, that's a given. However, because of attorneys and the idiocracy of the way that we live today, we had to go pass another law that says, okay, now when you get in the car, it has to be inaccessible. Well, the law already said when you get in the car, you can't use it and you can't be impaired by it.
Right.
So what's the difference? And what you need to do is provide yourself with a little bit of extra protection so that if you are pulled over by an officer, you can show that you took the extra steps to show that you were being responsible. And by having a half-burnt roach in your ashtray, that's not exactly the perception of responsibility, albeit whether or not you used it while you were driving or pulled over at the roadside park. It's about perceptions. And so what we have to do is understand that if we just simply model our behavior in a responsible manner, whether or not we're being responsible, ultimately will benefactor us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you have to be careful. I'd encourage you that if you're leaving the club and you have medication, take a moment to make that medication inaccessible to yourself, whether you put it in the glove box or whether you put it underneath the seat or put it in a bag behind your seat. I understand that when patients are acquiring their medication, it's not so much the caregivers that I worry about. Because the caregivers understand they have a different onus of responsibility on themselves by transporting that type of medication. It's the patients that I'm concerned with. The patient who goes and gets a gram or two and then puts it in their pocket and then hops in the car and doesn't think twice. They have no intention to use it. They have no intention of being impaired while driving.
Yep.
And meanwhile, they're breaking the law because it's accessible. And is it really accessible? Is a bud in a baggie an accessible use or an accessible form? Not really. We all know who use medication that it would need to be broken up, it would need to be rolled, and then it would be accessible.
Right.
However, that's not necessarily the way law enforcement would interpret that, and it's not up to us to decide that for them. We have to take the responsible step to show that we were being responsible. So by taking that baggie, maybe just, let's say it's a bud in a Ziploc bag. It's a common scenario. What are you supposed to do with that? Well, let's say, for example, that's what it was, and you took the time you're in a single cab vehicle, you put it in your glove box, or you put it underneath the floor mat on the passenger side. Anything to show that you were taking the steps to make sure that, to show the officer, if you were to be pulled over, that you were not using it while you were, driving your vehicle.
There's no way you could have put it there.
Right. So, again, if you get pulled over and your vehicle just reeks like you just got done smoking, and most officers now have the ability, not all, but some have the ability to be able to tell the difference between fresh bud and bud that's been smoked. Right. Most of them will tell you. I can tell you the difference.
Of course.
And so if you're giving them reasons to believe that you've been operating your vehicle while smoking, and I know that I've heard of some people say, well, I smoke in my garage or in my car and at home because I don't smoke inside my home, and it's a way to stay warm. So my car does really smell very strongly of medication. Well, then knowing that, then you have an extra strong responsibility to make sure your stuff really looks inaccessible. Because you can almost guarantee you, if I was an officer pulling you over and your car smelled as strongly as it does, I would pat you down. Because I would believe that you were medicating while you were driving, and I would be bound and determined to find it. So regardless of what you say, I would do that to you. And you have to understand that that's an officer's job. Whether he believes in marijuana or not, doesn't matter. He took the oath to uphold and protect the law, and he's going to do it. So when you have those situations, you have to take the extra steps to protect yourself. Like if a cop pulls me over and my car smells like I've been firing a weapon out of it, it's going to be a lot different, situation going on than if I just simply tell them, hey, I have my weapon with me. It is in the trunk. And yes, here's my card, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different situation when the cop can smell the smoke, if you know what I'm saying. So you have to be conscious of that as a patient and take that extra step to show that you're being responsible. Should you have to? No. But you do.
Be nice
you have to assume that your excuse isn't going to fly, no matter how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a card, but let's be honest. Having a card is not as good in today's society as having a prescription.
Yep.
It buys you certain freedoms, but it doesn't get you all of them. You're still a second-class citizen. Sorry.
Have you seen those prescription bottles that come that are sealed? Those would be pretty nice, like for patients. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, once it goes in there, they seal once, and then once you go to open it, it breaks that permanent seal.
And there's lots of different ways that you can do it. I mean, by simply having your Ziploc bag, like I said, sealed up, there's not a pack of papers in with it. It's not within reach.
Yeah, so I was going to say, what if you don't have a lighter? What if you have a doobie but no way of lighting it?
Right, something like that. And again, not having the doobie within reach, so it doesn't look like you were just waiting for the opportunity to plug in your cigarette lighter in your vehicle.
He's got to say something quick.
Oh yeah.
It's not a tumor. It's a headache. You'll know why.
Okay. It's okay.
I'll explain it to you after.
I'm not going to rebuke the dog.
It's good.
He's a club member.
He's not a club member.
Oh yeah, he comes in the club all the time. It's not the tumor, it's a headache.
It's not Arnold, it's the guy from...
it's the bad guy.
He's looking at a picture of the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop.
That's the bad guy from it.
I remember, yeah. He's at the club now?
Nice.
I don't know who you're talking about. All right, I do have some news for you, a little bit of news. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm sorry, before we get to the news. You guys have any other questions? We talked about transport. Got any others?
Well, I know they're talking about the 2-year program.
Yeah. Everybody wants to know about the fee.
Have you heard anything at all?
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard a thing.
Anything at all?
The only thing it said is in the fiscal impact report of passing that bill is that they refer to the reduced fee collection that would occur naturally because of the from 1 to 2 years. So that implies that they would not change the fee.
No, I know what my
It doesn't mean that they won't.
I know what my...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I know the question was now pertaining to the fee. Sorry, I have a lot of people ask this.
Uh-huh.
With the fee in the new laws, is there anywhere that it states that they're going to use the money that they're getting from us to do pharmaceutical research with, or apply it to because I have had multiple patients.
Okay, here's where that rumor comes from, and here's where you do need to be concerned.
All right.
Is that the portion that was passed in that bill that was slipped in came from the bill that was proposed to allow that pharmaceutical company to start doing their distribution. Remember, there was a bill package I was kind of upset about 9 months ago that got rolled out by John Walsh, and you had the Canadian company prairie farms offering to build their own little world up there in some, abandoned copper mine in the UP. These are the guys that provide the medicine in Health Canada's program. So if you're in the medical marijuana program in Canada, 70% of the people in that program, or somewhere around that statistic, get their weed from Prairie Plant Systems. Okay. And Prairie Plant, who already has hydroponic vegetables and produce being produced here in Michigan. Again, this is a Canadian company doing business here in Michigan. They do want to expand their business here in Michigan to include medical marijuana as well. Since they already do it in Canada, it's a natural progression for their company to do it here. So they proposed to John Walsh to be the supplier for Michigan, and certainly they have the ability to do it. They're already doing it for Canada.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they have proposed that to him. I can guarantee you that he likes that idea because it puts controls and regulations like that.
Right.
It makes him look good. So what he had done in that bill package was to allow them the ability to provide medication to Michigan's patients and providing them the legal channel to be able to do that. Okay? Because currently with the Michigan law, patients and caregivers scenario, there's no way Prairie Plant Systems could participate.
Gotcha.
So this would carve them out the legal edge to be able to do that. That bill package, okay? Well, of course, the bill package didn't move any farther, but in that package was a specific set of language that carved out that the fees being collected would go into a separate fund. Right now they go into the Michigan General Fund, which means the general fund of the entire state. And then from there they can divvy out however they want to through the Appropriations Committee. Okay. But what they do with this here now is they've said, okay, well, what we want to do is create a separate fund where this money will be put into, and then from there we'll extrapolate cost, expenses, and appropriations from that fund, rather than just dump it into the general fund like they are right now.
Right.
So that bill was set up to carve out that legal niche for Prairie Plant Health Systems to start participating, and also create this legal fund, which would ultimately be used to create the regulatory body for the governance of the distribution of medical marijuana, which was also in that bill package. Okay?
That's a bummer.
So all that stuff got thrown out except for the fund and the language that was used to create the fund. And that language was included in the bill package that they did just passed. So you do have a concern because again, if you always follow the money, the foundation for these other things that we just discussed has been laid in this law that was just passed. It's already been done. So you need to understand that Prairie Plant Systems, they want to move into Michigan. Guaranteed. They already have the legislative friendship established, and they are already working diligently to make that a reality. And I have been told by sources that there are already numerous vending machines in the UP where patients can access medication.
Really?
Yes. And I am told that they are ran in part through a subsidiary of Prairie Plant Systems.
Right.
And that they have found a legal way to be able to move through the legal whatever due process to be able to say they have a right to do this.
Right.
And my question is how does a machine register as a caregiver? I have a lot of questions, obviously, and I don't feel that it is right for them to be able to do that, because I think, I know that if the three of us were to join together and say, well, rather than us, going to the club to meet our patients, we're just going to simply buy a vending machine, and all three of us will put our meds in there, and then, our patients can go have a key to the machine and access their meds that way. And I don't know how their machine works. I don't want to really judge them too harshly, but I can tell you initially I'm very opposed to the idea of that happening because of the persecution I've seen down here in the southern part of the state. And I think, for the Attorney General to knowingly allow that to be going on and to not have challenged it in the way that he's challenged, patients and caregivers and, collectives and dispensaries and so on down here in the southern part of the state, to see that just be, waved the golden wand at because it's somehow tied to Big Boy's Canadian company, it makes me very upset, and it makes me feel that there's people in power that are completely biased and really don't care. I've been told stories about some of these people that are antagonistic towards medical marijuana, that they're avid cannabis users and that they're total hypocrites, and that for them it is really all about the money, that they're completely 100% dedicated to making sure that this industry moves in the way that they deem necessary, which will be through very strong hands. Not our kind of hands.
No.
And, I watched this thing on CNN earlier this week. It's kind of cool. They had this program. You can check it out on CNN.com. Pull it up and type in Pot Club. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of neat. They did this little biop on this new club that just opened up in Colorado. And, of course, this club is for everybody because they just passed legalization in Colorado. And the club reminded me a lot of our old club. They were panning around with the camera, and they got the two owners standing there. And, they're showing how they've decorated it and so on. And it reminded me a lot of our old club. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool, And their concept was very similar to how ours works. And it was that they don't provide medication to their club members. They're just providing a safe place for them to come and to meet each other and to have a place to hang out and to use their recreational marijuana.
Right.
And I thought, wow, how similar. I think somebody must have been sending spies over into our club or something like that. But it made me also, on the other hand, feel very thankful and sort of proud, to see like how well our club has done and how good of a job the staff has done, and
to know you're on the right path.
Yeah, to know that wow, you guys really are trendsetters and really have set the path for what a beautiful thing that is. And then I thought on top of that, it's this type of business model that we have that will help propagate the let's just call it organic growth of this industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like right now we've got a whole building full of patients and caregivers who are not only meeting each other's needs, but are also have created themselves an economy and an industry. You know what I mean? We've got careers and livelihoods that have been established or maintained through this.
Oh yeah.
And to see that be plucked away by some corporate jackass is not anything I know that any of our members are interested in. And I don't think that our patients, for the most part, I don't believe that patients are looking for that type of product. I believe that they also know that mass production always equals decreased quality. It just goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And goes in every product that we have. So it's just evident
basics. You can be smoking basics.
Right, if you want a basics medication. But at any rate, I think we recognize that. And I hope that this type of business that we have, the Compassion Club, and as other businesses grow and copy us or whatever, do the same thing, that it helps breed this organic growth that we have, these individual business owners or individual consumers as well. You know what I mean? It helps breed that so that we don't allow these corporations to come in and to take what is rightfully ours. I think like how many different jobs out there have been taken over by mass production. And what does it leave you with? You know what I mean? It leaves you working for somebody else at their whim, at their rate of pay, and
not having a choice.
And with no choice. It leaves you an indentured servant is what it leaves you. And I hope that people who are in this industry have a chance to see that. I know that they do, and I hope they utilize it. I hope they don't just toss it away. Because we do have that amazing ability right now. It's a gift. And I don't want to see it taken away. And I hope that other people recognize it and are willing to stand up and try to fight for it because, as you can see in Colorado, it's growing and there's growth being allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And there are corporate interests jumping in like mad dogs. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, there's still room for the individuals to operate. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we have to, cling to is that, hey, we realize that you can't stop the corporate wheel. It isn't going to be averted. It will roll you over. What you have to do is learn how to be able to, sort of roll alongside it and be able to, allow yourself a path to do that. To not be knocked out of the way. To not be cut out of the mix. You know what I mean? And I think what we have to do is say, hey, we do need standards in our industry, and we recognize what those are, and we are the leaders of that, and we don't need your regulation to prove it. And, the minute that you're willing to accept that regulatory factor is the minute that you're willing to say, well, then I also realize I might not be good enough and you can cut me out at your whim. And that's not what regulation should be about. That's what good natural competition should be about. Like, hey, your stuff didn't turn out so hot that batch, and now you're going to have to either lower your prices a little bit and learn from it, or maybe this isn't just your cup of tea.
Right.
Or maybe you learn that what you do have to do, you step it up, and the next thing you know, it's a good thing for you again. And it's a good thing for the people that are able to get that from you as well. Right. So I don't know, man. To me, it's very encouraging to see that going on out in Colorado. I was like, sweet, and it's scary to see the laws getting passed the way they are and the deviant nature of them, because I do believe that they are not dummies. The guys who write these laws and pass them are brilliant men. They got in power because they're sharp. And when they do stuff like this, you have to take a good look at it and really think about what's going on here, and think about where you're at, and then, man, I think it should put an onus or a responsibility on you to say, hey, you know what, if I want to continue doing this, I'm going to have to step up and kind of protect myself a little bit here and there. Mm-hmm. So, and that boils down to some things simple, like making sure you did take the time to transport your medication properly, so you don't get caught riding dirty. You don't think
we'll ever take away a right to grow for ourselves, right?
Well, that's my concern. Is I don't think that's in the cards, but I definitely could see them, shooting at the right to take away the ability for caregivers to grow for their patients.
Yeah.
I can see that being an aim.
They do that.
If we'll put it this way, Chad.
Yeah. Now you can just have 6 plants. You have to own the property, but everybody,
for outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again, Toby.
Out in California, nobody has a caregiver. You're just like, you're on your own. If you own the property, you can grow 6, I believe.
Yeah.
But you have to own the property. You can't be
in certain areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's certain areas like that. There's certain states that have those types of laws where, the whole caregiving nature of the relationship that we have here in Michigan doesn't exist.
They put you on your own.
Yeah, my concern is that you have a corporate interest come in and say, hey, we can eliminate all the problems, the supposed problems, which those of us that are in this industry or whatever you want to call it understand that those are just supposed problems. There really isn't problems.
Yeah.
There's not the abuse that there's talking about going on. There's not the theft or that kind of crap. And sure, that stuff does occur, but that stuff occurs anyways.
It's not
magnified because of what this is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we got to be careful in what we're doing. Very, very careful. Mm-hmm. But I think that corporate interest, could very well use that as a way to try to squeeze us out and say, hey, you know what I mean? These guys are dangerous. They don't pay taxes. They're bad for society, and they have the wrong representation about what marijuana is. And we have all the right answers. And we package it in a way that's already been proven. Look at us in Canada.
Right.
And we're going to do it in a way that they never could even dream of being able to do it. So it'll be better than what these people are getting anyways. That's the story that they can sell. And the problem is that they can afford the really nice suit, and they can afford to take that guy out to dinner, and they can afford to pad his campaign so that he really does listen to what they have to say. Mm-hmm. And their package looks good. You know what I mean?
They're patient.
And it's like us showing up to the same meeting with a flipping box of crayons and a book and being like, well, I got a package, but hang on, I'm still drawing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because of the fact that we didn't have the money to pay to put us in that same place, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes us that we can't play their ball game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be careful. You know what I mean? And the only thing you can do is just stand up as an individual. You're not going to create the master plan. You're not going to show them the way. You know what I mean? You just have to be like, hey, you know what? I've got my individual rights that I'm concerned with, and I'm asking that you just, whatever you do, stand up for those. I don't really care about that and that, but don't tread on this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that in mind, there is a fundraiser going on for a good guy. Let me pull it up here.
Nick?
Yeah. You do have to support the good guys, and there are some good guys in office, and Jim Ananick is one of them. He's our state representative. I think he's your rep, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you live out on the, what would that be, the west side?
If you're in Swartz Creek, Flushing area, any of that area of Genesee County, you pretty much span out there. All the way to Montrose, pretty much.
Cool. Yeah. Well, he is a very good representative, and he's had a listening ear from day one. Chad and I met with him almost 2 years ago.
Yep.
And Jim was...
Actually, a couple times.
Yeah. I was speaking the first time we got
to
meet him. But Jim, he was what do they call him, a freshman.
Yep.
At that time. He had just been elected into the representative position or whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyways, and at that time he was a rep wasn't he in Burton area? Because I remember meeting him at the Traverse Pie.
Well, no, the Swartz Creek stuff goes partially over to here.
Oh,
we met him down on the east side of Flint.
Well, didn't we have Pie?
No, that was a different guy.
Oh, really?
You may remember.
I had Pie a couple times.
Remember, this is the one you and Brenda went to, and it was the next day?
But I met him before.
Yeah, with me out in Swartz Creek.
All right, anyways, I'm sorry.
You've met
He's a good guy.
You've met all of them.
It does not look like his picture on the website.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
A little confusing at first.
Anyways, Jim is a very nice guy, and he does listen to us. He does have our concerns at heart. He understands what we were just talking about as far as the industry nature of this and how it is helping people economically. But he also has a heart for listening to how this is medicinally helping people and changing their lives in a good, healthy sort of way. And I think he believes in the medication. And and everybody has their opinion on, oh yeah, does your rep smoke or not? I don't think this guy is a smoker. I mean, he looks to me like good American hunter kind of guy.
Yeah, but he's for us.
But he's a good guy. You know what I mean? And you don't have too many of those in your politic offices. You know what I mean? But he's having a fundraiser on Thursday, January 24th. I think this is kind of an upscale thing. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do this myself, but if you would like to go to it, it is at Olio's Cafe and Grill. It is on Elms Road in Flint, and it is from 6:30 to 9. Again, that's Thursday, January 24th, and that is for Jim Ananek.
He's actually running for Gleason's seat this year.
Oh, okay.
Or next vote.
Next time,
yeah.
Like 2 years or whatever.
I think it's coming up, yeah. This is a fundraiser for that, partially.
You can RSVP if you'd like at 517-749-1350. I believe that is his state office. Also, if you just want to support him, a phone call, an attaboy is always nice. Those are well appreciated. You don't always have to send money. And, sometimes I have a conflict that I don't want to ever give a politician money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's your job, and I don't say this rudely,
Right.
but it is your job to do, or at least to represent me.
Right.
And representing means listening to me and then turning back around and saying what I felt to the people in charge. And so I have a problem personally with giving money to politicians. It's like, to me, it's like giving money to pay for your sins.
Right.
I don't mean to poop on religion. It's like that, but it just doesn't feel right. So, but at any rate, an attaboy, and Dan appreciates attaboys, and he's got an awesome staff too. Their staff is super cool.
Yep.
So if you don't get to talk to him and you just talk to a staff person, you'd be like, oh, cool. So support Dan, and that's groovy. Jim. I'm just reading on here.
I had the wrong one there. Yeah.
Dan too. Whatever Dan is.
If you know what Dan, support him.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Yeah, Dan needs support too.
Oh, that's funny. Now let me see if I got any other news here. Sorry, there was a little article here on Freep.com. Says something about political organizers, blah, 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 blah.
I got Freep again. Man, that girl gave me Freep. Here, on.
What?
Go ahead. I'm just feeling some dancing for you. La cucaracha, michanga, da 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 da. Taco flavored kisses. Taco flavored kisses. Taco flavored kisses for you.
Taco flavored
Taco.
All right. This story here is dealing with the city ordinances that were just recently passed. We talked about dealing with decriminalization. There was one in Detroit, one in Kazoo, one in Grand Rapids. And this is kind of the backlash that's coming now from that. You've got people saying, oh, it's a terrible thing, blah, blah, blah. And, maybe they don't realize that these have been passed. Numerous ones have already been passed in other cities here in Michigan, and they really haven't caused problems. And I think it's funny that the only city that wasn't mentioned, it does say the city's state-appointed emergency manager has declared the Flint police will ignore the ordinance. But basically, it's kind of like a little bit of a backlash, and this is stemming, I got to believe, and I don't have any proof of this, it's just hearsay, all right?
Okay.
But I got to believe that this attitude is coming from the state attorney general's office.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a hunch. Anyways, you got Kazoo authorities, Flint City state-appointed city manager, mind you. You got Detroit's elected officials that are foot dragging. I mean, isn't Detroit under city manager as well?
I believe so.
To a degree.
It's under a lot of different...
Yeah, Grand Rapids, we all know the prosecutor out there, the county prosecutor in Grand Rapids, is the one who's really kind of leading the charge, or been the man who's been set to lead the charge in this case against these terrible new ordinances that will, and what their argument is that these ordinances will inflict some sort of social damage,
chaos.
And,
anarchy.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess this is what they're saying is that, it's on one thing, it's incongruous with state law. So I can understand that because it does have some sort of a conflict between state law. But I mean, I think if you're going to argue about that, then we have to argue about what is supreme. You know what I mean? Like, if all the people in that town decide they don't want to drink and they don't want alcohol sold in that town, shouldn't it be that town's prerogative?
Yeah, didn't South Carolina do that?
Well, just an example. So here, this is something else that is to be considered, though, is that these were voter-initiated and voter-passed ordinances. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's something that was just thrown upon them. It's something that the people chose.
They wanted that.
The people got to choose this. And so I think that, the fact that these guys are turning back around and trying to challenge it in any legal manner
Vote them out.
is really quite a slap in the face of what liberty is all about and what this country really stands for. So you've got, opposition led by Detroit City Council President Charles Pugh.
Hitler, too.
Charles Pugh, sorry.
Hitler.
Charles Pugh.
Hitler.
Last month, Pugh said he did not want to see the measure put into effect. He said it was incongruous with state law and that the law department there has said basically do nothing. Well, that's kind of what the law says anyways, is do nothing. But there was comments in here from our one of our marijuana champions, Tim Beck, who had stated that in opposition to their opposition, that the appeals court has no right or has the right to determine how law enforcement resources are allocated. He says that they can either enforce state law or obey the will of the voters. And I like the way he puts that. You know what I mean? Like, well, you're right, I guess, if you're going to say state law is supreme over a local ordinance, and that makes sense. But then really isn't it up to the police officer to determine when they want to enforce what law? And isn't it nice that the police officer has an option?
Yes.
I think. It says here, if someone is arrested for possessing marijuana in Detroit within the scope of the new ordinance, any fines collected would go to the state, said attorney Tim Knowlton of the law firm of Honigman, Miller, Schwartz, and Kahn. Remember what we were talking about when Eric was here last week? About when certain laws are enforced and fines are in place. Depending on what law was enforced determines where the fines go to.
Yeah.
Right.
Very interesting that this is actually getting brought out into light. So now you can see what's really going on.
Right.
The state's going, wait a minute, if these police start busting people under these local ordinances instead of enforcing state law, then we're going to lose revenue as a state, and the money's going to be going to the city instead. So you can see why there would be a charge led by certain people in certain places, in addition to the fact that maybe they just don't like marijuana. We don't know. It's all hearsay anyways.
Money.
All right, it is. You're right, Toby. It's really just boils down to money. So that really is the story here, and we're going to have to find out what happens. The fact that this is going to court, that this prosecutor from Wayne County is leading the charge. The appeals court has the ability to make a decision here, and we'll have to see what they have to say. Also, if you can imagine that it's probably going to end up in the Supreme Court, because really this is a question of supremacy. Mm-hmm. You have a local will of the voters establishing a precedent, an ordinance in their town that was clearly debated on whether or not the language in the ordinance was clear. Okay, that itself, the language for that particular measure went through court because they tried to challenge it and say that's not clear enough, or you can't ask people that question that way. It's going to confuse them. And so they said, well, no. And they put it through the process, and then it went through court, and the court said, yeah, it is worded correctly, and yes, it is clear, and yes, it is going to be on the ballot. They're not doing anything wrong. Right. And so then they put it on the ballot. Well, actually, I take it back. That's when they said they could go ahead and ask the question to get it on the ballot. Mm-hmm. Then they get the question answered. They get enough signatures collected to get it on the ballot. They tried to challenge it again from getting on the ballot. Yeah. Then they get it on the ballot, and then they say, no, then you can't have it on the ballot. I mean, Tim Beck had to go with his Detroit Coalition for Safer Detroit, one of the people who led the charge for one of these decrim measures. Right. He had to go to the Michigan State Supreme Court to get the Detroit City Council, or whoever it was who runs their voting thing down there, to allow him to put it on the ballot when he had done the legal process and was challenged the entire way to put it on the ballot. So you see, it would be like being tried for murder 5 times in a row, and every time you go in front of the judge, the jury says not guilty, and then the prosecutor gets to stand back up and say, well, you know what, I don't like that judge's opinion, I'm going to the next court, and he walks out the door and drags you with him, and you have to go.
Yeah.
It's the same thing they're doing here, but they're doing it in a different legal way. They're challenging the laws instead of the people.
Sounds like Berlin.
Well, it's very. It puts a lot of onus on our judges. We really need to pay attention to who our judges are and what the decisions are that they make to make sure that they are holding up the state's constitution, above and beyond everything else. And I think that this case here, stuff like this, is going to call them out. Those judges are going to have to stand up and make a decision on, who do you follow? Are you in for the administration, or are you going to stand up for the people and stand by the Constitution? So let's just pay attention to these cases, because I think there's a lot more going on than just some silly little ordinance about whether or not you're going to give somebody a misdemeanor or charge them with a state crime.
Right.
It's still illegal either way. That's what I think also needs to be considered. Are you kidding me? All this fight, all this money spent in court, taxpayers' money, mind you. There's no people here going to court. It's tax-paid person taking tax money to sue another tax-paid person with tax money in court. To figure out whether or not they're going to do what you told them to do in the first place. Think about that. It's quite the challenge. It's quite the slap in the face of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to pay attention to these court cases. That's all I got.
That's good stuff. Well spoken.
Just makes you realize that how much we stand up and how much we take action, we still need more people to do it with us, because no matter how hard you fight, there's always people that are going to try to put you down and try to not let you have your way. And we just need to show them that, no, we are the citizens.
Well, I think
you do it our way.
It's medical people, and I don't want to just classify marijuana.
Well, not just marijuana.
I just mean I think that the whole medical thing. People who are considered patients. All right, whether you're a medical marijuana patient, a methadone patient, or whatever it is, patient. It's like that is the medical patient is the next civil rights movement. You know what I mean? From who deserves to get health care to who decides to get what treatment. You know what I mean? It is the next civil rights thing as far as who gets to control and how do you get to control your body. You know what I mean? And I think that people need to recognize that is really what's going on here.
It's sad.
And that they've broken it down to, or built it up to be a very complex thing on a lot of different levels. And really it all boils down to one bad thing, or one big thing in the end. And that's who's going to control your body. And at what degree? And at what degree are you going to give control and submit, or are you at all?
Yeah. They're already starting to with that whole health plan stuff in the future.
Yeah, man.
All the doctors now, if you ever go to the doctors, notice they all have to use those tablets now, and they're all government-issued tablets. These are all linked in.
I heard something about you in the future, you could get fined if you didn't, what was I saying? It was something like...
Well, I know right now the government has access to all the information getting put in these tablets, and what they're doing is they're collecting data, and what they're finding out is what ages, what groups, what kind of workers, what kind of habits people are getting cancers and different illnesses.
Dude, those are customer service surveys. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. No one's supposed to have your information to start except for your doctor. Now,
But I enjoyed my select comfort.
And this isn't.
It was at least
this is for every doctor.
They're supposed to know how the experiment's going.
But what they're doing though is they're supposed to be making it so they can streamline it. So when everyone does have the implemented healthcare, that they'll be able to. It's if you smoke or if you do this, that you won't be covered here, or if you do this and do this, we won't cover this.
Yeah, damn.
It was something like that. If you ate a burger, you would get charged, a certain fee. You know what I mean? It was based on your actions. You would be basically monetarily controlled or fined. You know what I mean? Your behavior would be modeled by your
So I feel like it's
monetary behavior. You know what I mean? You'd be like, all right, you didn't, your premium's this much this month, but if you smoke a cigarette, it's going up $5. Smoke another one, it goes up 10. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. Or you didn't exercise today, that's another $10. Or you know what I'm saying? Or no, it was car insurance. Something to do with Obama and car insurance. I don't know if it's true or not, but same thing. I got in my car, I go over 55.
You're talking about the I.
Yeah, it's like that.
Progressive will give you cheaper insurance.
Right.
This in for 30
it's like
days.
that for your body. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I think we're headed. But all right. So if you say that the speed limit is 55, computer says you're in a GPS area, it knows the speed limit is 55, but yet your reader says you're doing 60. Progressive is sending you an extra little bill on the end of your insurance because you're a lawbreaker now. Or let's say, for instance, your car knows you're in drive, but your seatbelt isn't clicked. It's a couple extra bucks
Almost
on
like
you.
an electric bill. it goes up.
It's like the toilet paper thing at Demolition Man, where he swears and then the fine comes out of the wall.
Yeah.
So it's moving. Like first, it's going to start with cars, and it's going to go to health, and then it is going to be Demolition Man.
Yeah.
And then I'm moving to Alaska or Brazil.
You can either swear or use the seashells. What you want?
Create your own world now.
What you want?
Nope.
Or forever be enslaved.
Nope.
I'm going with seashells. I want to see how they work.
I would kill myself.
Curious?
If I was in the world, I would live underground.
All right, guys, it's time to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us this week. We'll be back in the studio. Thank you, John, for being here. Flint Talk Radio. Catch us out on Ustream and check out the website, guys.
Boss. GregJoslin.com. Genesee3C.com. See us on Facebook, Genesee Compassion.